Octomommy, I mean Yidhari, is finally in the game. She have what I would call the highest skill ceiling in the game, and her skills are absolute nobles. So making a 40-minute Yidhari guide is easy. Making an easy to understand one, 10-minute one, is a lot harder, so let's try it. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, my name is Hako. In this short and sweet guide, I'll teach how to play Yidhari before my coffee gets cold. Yidhari is an ice rupture agent. What's unique with rupture agents is that they don't really care about attack, instead they want a bunch of HP that they can convert into sheer force. They convert some of their attacks into sheer force as well, but at a worse ratio. Now every stat that is highlighted in yellow is stats that we are gunning for, and this right here is a pretty well built Yidhari. So what is Yidhari's role? She is an on-field main carry that pairs very well together with Lucia and Yufufu, but she can be quite flexible with her stunners. Now, if we take a look at the skills, you will see that they are absolute Bibles or novels. Well, not these two, but those are not as important. But the ones that actually matter, the special attack, the basic attack, and the ultimate, it's a lot of text. So let's make it simple to understand. Yidhari's basic attack is called Crushing Strike. It's nothing super fancy, and for the most part, you're not gonna be using it. Instead, what Yidhari's unique gimmick is that she is all about parrying and doing counterattacks. Yidhari is very much a counterattacker and is a very reactive character. It's all about what the enemy does. So instead of basic attacking, I at all points want you to be charging up your hammer. If you hold down the attack button, Yidhari will start charging your hammer up to 3 levels. Now you might be thinking, Hako, what happens if I get hit when I'm charging the hammer? Well, jackpot. That is exactly what we want to happen. If when charging the hammer, and charging the hammer also drains your own HP, when charging your hammer you want the enemy to hit you, and when the enemy hits you, we want to press the special attack button while charging, and we will retaliate. While charging, we can at any point stop charging and move into an attack. Although what I want you to do is keep charging, and if you reach to the max without having received an attack, let go of the attack button and Yidhari will turn into Mini Piper and she will spin on an enemy. Now the spin does good damage, and it also has the same properties as when we're charging the hammer, in that if an attack is flying our way, we can press special attack to counter that. And another good thing about being hit while charging the hammer is that if you get hit, you also immediately go up to the next level of charging. So if you're halfway and you get hit, well, you're gonna be fully maxed out. Basically, the attack we do once we're done charging, it does more damage the more charge level we're at. So Yidhari is all about being hit either while she's spinning or while she is charging. Now the window for charging is quite generous, so even if you've just gotten hit, quite often you can just press the special attack button and it will still count as you parrying the attack. Let's dive a little bit more into what counterattacking actually is. So, charge the hammer, drain your HP, if an attack comes your way, special attack. And that counter is called special attack, surging cold, or crushing pursuit, depending on how much energy you have, or adrenaline, as it's called for rupture agents. Now, surging cold and crushing pursuit in itself is not super damaging, but they are kind of the gateway leading to where Yidhari's main damage is. So, after a counterattack, Yidhari will take a step back and then you can charge upon the enemy. And what that is the finishing slam of basic attack Frostbite Embrace. And then we get to the final step, which is called EX Special Attack Glacial Crush. This is her most damaging ability apart from her ultimate. We can see that the modifiers are kinda crazy, almost on par with her ultimate. And Glacial Crush happens if you have enough adrenaline to pull it off. So, charge up the hammer, counterattack with a special attack, while charging if a hit is coming your way. Yidhari will then parry, take a step back, and then come flying up on the enemy and then come crashing down. If she has enough adrenaline, that crashing down part will also summon a bunch of tentacles and do so much goddamn damage. Now there is a lot to Yidhari's kit, as you can probably tell, but if we scale off all of the fat, that's how you play Yidhari. Charge up the hammer, press special attack if an attack is coming your way, continuously press the attack button to go to the next step in the line. So the core combo is kind of 3 attacks. It's charging the hammer, which is called Frostbite Embrace. If you get an hit coming your way, we do special attack, surging cold. So an attack is coming, you press the special attack. And then if you continuously press the attack button after parrying, And with enough adrenaline, we will go into Glacial Crush, which is the really big hitter. And now another neat thing with Yidhari is that if an enemy is stunned, you can charge the hammer for a glimpse of a second and then immediately do a special attack. The game will count it as Yidhari having parried that enemy, so you will be able to do Glacial Crush. Now this can only be done if a Yidhari has adrenaline, so it's kinda nice and important to have some adrenaline when a stun window happens. Some bosses will attack more frequent than others, so if you're charging the hammer and no attack comes, instead of just standing there charging for 10 seconds hoping it will come soon as you reach the top, you just let go of the attack button and you will start spinning. The spinning has the same properties as charging up the hammer, in that if an attack is coming, we can press special attack and we will immediately do the entire Parry Combo. And now, one thing that is really important is to see the entire combo out. Once things are set in motion, make sure that every part of the combo plays out. Yidhari is extremely adrenaline reliant, and EX Special Glacial Crush, which is kinda the finishing touch when we have enough adrenaline and have done the Parry Combo, it will recharge 15 of the adrenaline induced in order to trigger. But when you're new to Yidhari, it's super easy to think that you're done and just switch over and never get that 15 refund. So I'll show the combo in slow motion and notice how the adrenaline comes back when we do the final step. So once you parried with a special attack, remember to click attack, attack, attack. If you don't give Yidhari all of her prompts, she won't see the entire string out. Think of her as a fighting game character in, say, Guilty Gear, and the really big thing happens at the very end of that combo. And as for Yidhari's ultimate, it does work a bit different than other ultimates that we're used to. When Yidhari has 3000 decibels, so enough to cost an ultimate, then the next time we do a finishing move or an EX special attack, either Veil Wellspring will trigger. Now, either Veil Wellspring is something that Lucia has as well. It's a team-wide buff that gives 5% extra max HP, and a lot of the newer buffs, they correlate with you being in an Ether Veil. So when Yidhari comes out of the game, both Lucia and Yidhari will have access to Ether Veil Wellspring. Yidhari's chain attack can also trigger Veilspring if she has 3000 decibels. And now, once this gets triggered, once you enter into the Veilspring, you will have a 30-second window where you're able to cast her ultimate, Crossing the River of Regret. The ultimate does a good chunk of damage and is best saved for stun windows. Now let's also go over her core skill. As all of the other Rupture agents, it has that she transforms max HP into sheer force. One unique thing that Yidhari has is that her skill damage increases as her current HP percentage decreases. And when falling below 50% HP, she reaches the maximum value, increasing her damage to up to 100%. The absolute best way to reduce her HP is charging her hammer by holding the attack button. So it's very important that we always keep Yidhari under 50% HP. Some things will heal Yidhari, like her EX special attack, but don't worry, you have a 5-second window where the buff still lingers even if you manage to heal and climb over the 50% threshold. Just make sure that you immediately get yourself down below it, because you always want to have her extra damage up. Also, Yidhari gains fewer decibels than other agents of actually hitting the enemy, and instead she gains 10 decibels for every 1% of her HP that she drains, which is an interesting little mechanic. As for the additional ability, it's called Narrative Completion. It triggers with a stun or a support character, and when Yidhari falls below 50% HP, crit damage gets increased by 30%, damage taken reduced by 25%. And also when Yidhari is in either Veil Wellspring, she gains the following effect. After a level 3 charge attack of Yidhari's basic attack, Frostbite Embrace, or EX special attack Glacial Crush, an icy tentacle is summoned to attack, dealing extra damage, and this effect can trigger once every 12 seconds. And important to note is that this little tentacle popping up is counted as an EX special attack, and it also scales with her EX special attack level. And this is very good because this makes keep of the Yunkai Tails 4-piece buff very goddamn doable. Now I should also point out that instead of pressing the special attack button to parry, you can also press the dodge button and it will do the same thing. Personally, I found the special attack button to be an easier parry button. So even dumbed down and condensed, there is a lot to Yidhari. Just remember the basic thing of it. Charge up the hammer. You're looking to counterattack. You want the enemy to hit you. If the enemy throws an attack your way, either while charging, or when you're done charging, you let go and you start spinning. Special attack, you will parry the enemy, and then continuously press the attack button and you will see her entire combo through. And always make sure to keep Yidhari under 50% HP. If you climb over it briefly, it's no biggie, you can be there for 5 seconds before the buffs disappear. But as much as you can, like if she climbs over, you need to get her back under 50% kinda quick. In a stun window, if Yidhari is a little bit low on adrenaline, you wanna start the stun window with someone else, then send in Yidhari. If, when her chain attack is done, she's above 50% HP, suck out some of the HP, send in another character to trigger the chain attack again, and then send in Yidhari. If she's above 50% HP, get her down below it, and then do your ultimate. By now, the double chain attacks and the ultimate should have given you enough adrenaline to be able to do her counter combo, so start charging the hammer for a millisecond and then immediately press the special attack. If her special attack, while charging, hits an enemy and she has enough adrenaline, she will kinda act as if the enemy had tried attacking her. And you will be able to chain it to EX Special Glacial Crush. So hold attack, charge the hammer, special attack, then attack, attack, attack. Once again, this only works if she has enough adrenaline, so if you're still lacking adrenaline, instead just charge up the hammer to max and instead let her go spinning on the enemy. Maybe you'll be able to get the last adrenaline you need to do the combo before the stun window is over. But what you really want is to be able to use the fact that she can kinda cheat the parry system and do the parry combo on a stunned enemy without the enemy having attacked you. So a stun window where you actually have some adrenaline when it starts, well, chain attack once, if she's above 50% HP, drain it down, then do the entire combo, and then ultimate. If you can manage to get like enough adrenaline to do like a second combo of it, great. Now, Yidhari also has a normal special attack, so like if you have enough adrenaline and you just click special attack, she will send away like 2 waves of ice against the enemy. Never ever use this one. It's so much better to just save your adrenaline and use it to do the parry combo. Now let's talk some discs. Her best 4-piece is Yunko Tails. Since a lot of her attacks counts as EX Special, even if they're not technically EX Special, like her Icy Tentacles, she has a very easy time keeping the 4-piece stack up. For the 2-piece, you wanna kinda complement with what you need. I would say opt in for either Woodpecker or Branch and Blade Song, depending on like how the ratio is looking. Quick look at the stats, like this is a good, well-built Yidhari. Yunko Tails gives 12, and her own engine gives 20 as well. For the 4-piece, either crit rate or crit damage. For number 5, ice damage bonus, and then HP percentage. Ice damage is slightly better than HP, but you want to avoid pen ratio like the Plague, because she's a Rupture agent, so she can't make use of it. For number 6, only HP percentage. When it comes to her engine, her own signature engine is really good for her. She has some good alternatives. I found that using Xingming Birdcage, Yishuan's engine, gives me roughly an 8% lesser team score. And quite frankly, they're very similar type of engines, the only thing Xingming is lacking is the ice shear damage. There's another more free-to-play accessible option, which is Grill O Wisp, Manato's engine. With Grill O Wisp, I've seen around a 10% drop in overall team score in Deadly Assault, which is not a lot a signature engine compared to an A-rank engine. After that, we have the Radio Wave at around 50% worse, and then the Puzzle Sphere at around 18% worse. Now, the engine is great, but if I had Xingming Birdcage or maybe even like a maxed out Manato engine, if I wanted to invest in my Yidhari further than base level, I'd probably gone for M1. If you know me, you know I like mindscapes that change up how a character plays, makes them more smooth, etc. That's exactly what Yidhari's M1, which is what you're looking at, and also what her M2 does. M1 kind of significantly changes up how Yidhari's basic combo plays and allows you to do 2 Glacial Crushes back to back, which is phenomenal. So me personally, if I had Xingming or a maxed out Manato engine, I would consider M1. They give about an equal amount of performance, like performance enhancement, but M1 is a lot more fun than the engine in my opinion. And also, you're never really gonna use Yidhari and Yishuan on the same team, so once Yishuan is done fighting whatever she's fighting, grab that engine, slap it on Yidhari, if you don't go for Yidhari's own one. And if you want to go even further than that, M2 is excellent. She is all about having her adrenaline, and M2 gives you so much goddamn adrenaline. Let's talk some teams. Yidhari's best in slot team as of her release looks like Yidhari, Yufufu, and Lucia. Now, she is very flexible when it comes to like getting substitutes for Yufufu, and I've gotten very, very close like scores running Lycon as I have Yufufu, for example. She can also make good use out of Kolida, Pulchra, etc. So like the stunner, there's a lot of interchangeable ones. The big one is Lucia. She provides such a ludicrous amount of like power boost to Yidhari and to any other Rupture agent. Now, since she does really good work in a stun window, running a team like this, like it works, it's a lot of sheer damage buffs. But I find like the lack of a stunner to be kinda annoying on Yidhari, and I would opt in for a stunner. So in that constellation, instead of running Pan, I would suggest running Pulchra. Now, if you want to get mileage out of your lighter, which is a very good unit to buffing ice units, you can make a team that looks like this. This team is very potent, it's very fun. You can also switch out Caesar and you can put in Orphe. The kind of important thing with Lighter is that he needs his additional ability to be active in order to buff Ice and Fire. And for Lighter's additional ability, you need either an attacker or a Caledon, which is why Caesar is a good person to fill the gap. He's decent enough with Yidhari and makes Lighter work. Now, what I will assume is gonna happen is that the Dial-In, which is the newest stunner that's gonna be coming in the patch after this patch, that she is gonna be like the best in slot stunner for a Yidhari team. That's just me speculating, I don't know. And I would say that Yidhari's most free-to-play friendly team would look like this, Panjinu and Pulchra, and with this team I managed to get 40,000 against bosses in Deadly Assault. So like, don't worry if you don't have premium units, you can make this work and it works kinda fucking great. Kolida, especially the M2, is also a fantastic stunner to pair up with Yidhari. Alright peeps, I was gonna keep this short and sweet. The recording right now is over an hour, so let's see how much fat I managed to trim. Yidhari is an incredibly high skill ceiling character, but she also seems a lot more confusing and a lot more intimidating until you've had a few hours with her under your belt. So I wouldn't blame you if you had to rewatch this a couple of times until you get it. And I would say that she's one of those characters where you kinda like need to have some hands-on experience in order to understand what you're supposed to do with her. Just listening to me talk about how to play her without having any experience with her whatsoever, it's gonna be hard to understand. So give it some time. Remember, it's all about answering what the enemy is doing. Parry, parry, parry. Keep her under 50% health and always see the entire parry string out. And remember that you get Parry combos for free if the enemy is stunned and you have adrenaline. Alright everybody, this is cold as all hell, so I'll go pour it out and make myself a new hot one. As always, thank you so much for watching, have a big hug, until next time, Hako out.
Oh, I wish that you could just take it easy. Lay back, fast the way I roll. So get off my tail or else you will get to say hello to my darling sharks. Got a bite, don't you know? Don't you know? You should know that I'll fight them all. This shark's got a bite, don't you know? Hurry up and get it done, but don't run my patience to the ground. If you need me here, this shark's got a bite, don't you know? Ooh, yeah, you better keep it fun. When I try, I'm second to none.